Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Daily Spoilers here on the MTG Thoughtcast channel. I'm your host, Joseph. Today we're going to be talking about some pretty spicy goblin tech that they're printing in the Lord of the Rings set, as well as, it's a pretty light day, so I figured today would be a good day to go through some of the box topper reprints that they're going through. That and all of the rest of the daily spoilers are going to be coming up here in just a second. But before we get into it, give us a like, a comment, and a subscribe down below, as well as there's a link to our Discord if you want to jump in and hang out with us and join in on the discussion. We'd love to have you there. So now that we got all of that out of the way, let's start talking about some goblins. So here we have Mariah Marauder. It's red and a red for a goblin warrior at rare. It's a 1/1 with double strike. And it says, whenever a goblin or orc you control deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. This is so strong in a goblin deck, which historically is a very strong deck to begin with. But getting this amount of card draw on one singular creature for just 2 mana is unbelievable. The fact that it alone has double strike means that if he gets in, you're going to be impulse drawing 2 cards off of him, in addition to any other goblins that are coming in. So there's a strong chance that if you're consistently swinging in with your goblins in a deck that this is in, you're going to be drawing 4, 5, 6 cards a turn off of this. Now, granted, it's red, it's impulse draw, so you have to play those cards this turn, but since it says play instead of cast, you get lands off of it, so you're not going to be missing any of your land drops. You're going to be finding more of your Mariah Marauders. If you have 2 of these things out and you're drawing 2 cards a turn off of every goblin that's hitting, it's unbelievable. Where do I think this is going to be good is Pioneer. So in Pioneer, you have cards like Legion Loyalist, which is a goblin that is, battalion, making sure that things are attacking and getting in. Trample is very, very strong with double strike. It's going to be very strong in there. I think this is going to push Pioneer Goblins to a level that it hasn't been before. The Modern Goblins deck, I don't think is going to be including Mariah Marauders, just because Conspicuous Snoop is such an important part of the combo in that deck that you don't really care about attacking there. So the Modern deck is goblins, but it's not really goblins, it's a combo deck. So the Mariah Marauders cares about you attacking, you getting in, you playing a bunch of big red things. The other place I think that this is going to be good is in the limited environment or in any Lord of the Rings environment where you have ring bearers. So the second ability of the ring is what I want to draw your attention to here. Or sorry, the third ability. First ability? First ability of the ring is your ring bearer is legendary and can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. So the fact that Mariah Marauders is a 1/1 with double strike, anything that has power 2 or greater is not going to be able to block it if you choose to make it your ring bearer. So this is something that I'd be looking out for in your pre-releases, in any drafts, is just Mariah Marauder as your ring bearer, sneaking in, drawing you 2 cards a turn. It's going to be very strong. Now that we've gotten Mariah Marauder out of the way, let's talk about some of the other spoilers for today. We have Book of Mazarbul. It's a 3-mana saga. First lore counter is Amass Orcs 1, which again makes a 0/0 orc army token, then you put a counter on. The second lore counter is Amass Orcs 2, so if the first one sticks around, you're going to put 2 more counters on it. So by the second turn this is down, you have a 3/3. And then the third lore counter is creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain menace until end of turn. This seems fine in limited. I don't know if I'd be playing this anywhere else. Display of Power is 1 red for an instant at rare. This spell can't be copied. But it says copy any number of target instants and or sorcery spells. You may choose new targets for the copies. This is the Uno reverse card for Storm decks. So if anybody is playing a Storm deck, they've gotten their Grape Shot off against you, you just play Display of Power, copy all of their Grape Shots, send it straight back at them. This is going to be a strong contender in EDH, I would say. Because even just copying 1 or 2 instants or sorceries, counter spells that are on the stack, you get to redirect those counter spells at themselves. This is a very cool card. This is very bolt bend. It's very deflecting swat. I like it a ton. We have Grand the Gatebreaker, which is 3 and a black. Chase in our Discord was very excited about this one. It's a legendary artifact vehicle at uncommon, so it's a 5/5 with trample. And as long as it's your turn and you control an army, so from your Amass Orcs in the set, Grond the Gatebreaker is an artifact creature. Otherwise, you can crew it for 3 to make it a creature. So if you're playing anything that has your Amass cards, this is kind of an auto-include. It's going to be a 4-mana 5/5 with Trample, which is very strong on rate. Horn of Gondor. I want to bring some attention to this one. Horn of Gondor is a 3 mana for a legendary artifact. When Horn of Gondor enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 white human soldier token. And then for 3 and tapping the Horn, you can create X 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens, where X is the number of humans you control. So this seems like a really exciting card for humans decks. If you're playing, it's legendary, so you want to be playing it in Commander. This is your classic example of a win more card. If you are doing something cool with this and you're paying 6 mana to make 10 1/1 humans because you have a board full of humans already, you are going to win the game anyway. This is horrible when you're behind. If you're paying 3 mana to have this come down and it's just a 1/1, and then, next turn you get to pay 3 and make another 1/1, this is horrifying. So this is, if you get board wiped at all in your humans deck, Horn of Gondor is horrible. It's only good when you're ahead. So I would say this is a trap card. Don't play this. March from the Black Gate is 1 and a black for an enchantment. When March from the Black Gate enters the battlefield, and whenever an army you control attacks, amass orcs 1. So I actually don't think that this is that good in an amass deck, because you're required to attack with an army in order to amass. So if your army gets killed, because it just sticks around as 1 token, if that gets killed, you're never gonna attack with an army again, and this is just gonna sit there doing nothing. Where this is unbelievable is in a Changelings tribal deck, where all of your creatures are also armies. What this says is 2 mana, every time I attack with all of my Changeling creatures, put a +1/+1 counter on all of them, or on one of them, or whatever you want to do. If you have the Changeling Outcast, that's just a single black mana for a 1/1 that can't block and can't be blocked, this is unbelievable, because you just stack all of your counters on that thing and it becomes huge and it's unblockable. So this is a sneaky good card for Changeling tribal decks. The last main set card that we're going to be talking about today is There and Back Again, just because I love the flavor of this. So 3 red for a Saga at rare. First lore counter is up to 1 target creature can't block for as long as you control There and Back Again. The ring tempts you. The second is search your library for a mountain card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. So far for 5 mana, this is horrible. But the third lore counter is create Smog, the legendary 6/6 dragon creature token with flying, haste, and when this creature dies, create 14 treasure tokens. This is unbelievable. This is Bilbo's There and Back Again book as a saga. And the line of text of when this creature dies, create 14 treasure tokens. I just want to break it. I just want to do something cool. I want to break it. This is such a fun card. So since the spoilers today were so light, I figured today would be a good time to go through and talk about Realms and Relics, which is their box topper series that they're going to be printing. So the way to get all of these is either going to be buying a box of set boosters, draft boosters, or collector boosters. It's going to be a randomized pack box topper on top of it. That's going to be one of these reprints that they've rethemed as the Universes Beyond cards of very, very powerful Commander staples that they have themed to be Lord of the Rings. So the first one we're going to be talking about, the other way to get these is in collector boosters. They're either going to be non-foils or surge foils in collector boosters themselves. So the first one we're going to be talking about is Ancient Tomb, which is a $50 or $60 card that they're reprinting as Balin's Tomb. So it taps to add 2 colorless mana and deals 2 damage to you, one of the strongest lands. Another great reprint is Minamo School at Water's Edge, themed as Dol Amroth. You can pay either taps for a blue, or you can pay a blue and tap it to untap a legendary permanent. If you haven't played with or against this, it is unbelievably strong. We have such a good reprint in the Ozolith as Argonath Pillars of the Kings. The Ozolith is a legendary artifact that whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if Argonath has counters on it, you may move all counters from Argonath onto target creature. So this says that your +1/+1 counters, or any counters of any type, are going to stay on the Ozolith and just move back and forth between your creatures the whole game. They're never going to leave until the Ozolith gets blown up. For 1 mana, this is ridiculous value. And this was creeping up there in price to, I think, $15, $16, maybe even $20 for the Ozolith. So this is a great reprint. Cavern of Souls, they've tried reprinting this so many times and the price has never come down on it because it's just one of the best. If you're playing a tribal deck, Cavern of Souls is just one of the best lands you could be playing. So this has been rethemed as Paths of the Dead. Enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type, and it either taps for a colorless or a mana of any color for a creature of that type, and that spell can't be countered. That is strong, strong, strong. This is a great reprint. And the last one we're going to be talking about is Fangorn Forest, which is a retheming of Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, which is a legendary land that says each land is a forest in addition to its other types. So that's your lands, your opponent's lands, everybody's lands, now tap for a green as well. So this is just a really cool thing that they're doing. It's going to sell a lot of boxes for them, but it's just more reprints of cards that people want to play in Commander, so I could never complain about that. But that's all we have to talk about today. It was such a light day. But did I miss anything? Did I miss out? Am I wrong about Mariah Marauders? Let me know in the comments below or jump into our Discord, and I'll see you on Saturday.